All right, so you're just in time for another, well, Ghetto Antiques Roadshow / eBay unboxing. And I got into a bid war over this item. The seller just wrote vintage carved cameo brooch, and that was it. There was maybe 2 or 3 shitty pictures. There was, how many bidders were there? I think there was 17 bidders. Don't know why. Don't know what all the hype was about this. I was one of 17 bidders. I won, thank goodness. It went a little high for my taste, but the pictures in the seller's listing were awful, and they didn't even say how big this was. So this could probably be like this big, and I'm actually hoping that it's this big at least. And the bigger the better. Now, I just started getting into cameos. I used to think they were ugly, like basic grandma jewelry. And now, I guess because I'm like probably getting close enough to be a grandma myself. And why did I just cut that flap when I could have just pulled that out? I don't know. It's a Darwinism right here. Survival of the fittest. I guess I wouldn't win. Actually, I would win the Darwin Award. But back to what I was saying. So I'm basically a granny myself. And I don't know. I guess when you get to be older, you start to like granny shit. And I'm hoping that this is an antique, or at least from the 1920s and before, brooch. I don't like the newer stuff from the 50s and 60s and 70s up to now. And I'm praying and hoping. So far, this is a big size. And I'm trying to do this actually in the sun. So let's try to move the camera to a better area. No, wait. I'm trying to get like a sunlit area. Okay, that's better, I guess. Because these things look the best in the light, when the light goes through them. Now, I don't know how old this is. Again, I'm hoping the earlier the better. I want Victorian or earlier, generally. But so far, it's very hard to find Victorian or earlier for less than $100. And hopefully it's even precious metal. All right, so far, I'm like this. I'm rubbing my hands together like a greedy fuck that I am. All right, let's see. Now, I didn't look at the front of it. I don't want to see it. I really do not want to see it. Okay, so I see a bar. Actually, I'm going to take the camera off the stand so we can see this better. Okay, so I'm trying to discern how old this is. Let's try to zoom in here. And, I mean, I see striation lines that shows age. Does it have, what kind of clasp does it have? Now, Victorian would have a C clasp. Just at the turn of the 20th century, they had rollover clasps, or what was known as safety catch clasps. Okay, this is actually basically an early, it's an early safety catch, okay? Yeah, that's actually an early one, all right? Now, let's check the hinge. Now, tube hinges indicate Victorian, and also the round hinges came later, but the handmade ones were actually made in the early 20th century. This one, I don't know if it looks machine made. I cannot tell because my camera is shit. Absolute shit right now. It will not focus at all. Focus, enhance. Enhance, you bastard. Let's see. I'm checking like the machinery on this to see if there's rivets. Let me try to zoom in. I cannot see what I'm doing. So I'm looking through my viewfinder right now. And it does look old. But again, I'm no expert. I'm not a Dr. Lori, and I never, ever, ever say in my videos that I am an expert. It looks actually old. Now, there's a bar going across here. It's a stabilizing bar. Now, a lot of people might think that this was this piece back here was possibly replaced. I don't think it was replaced, because if you look on the side, let's zoom back out. If you look on the side, it almost has like a rose gold color. Don't know if you can see that. Damn, now the sun's getting too intense. Okay, here we go. You see like a rose gold color? It matches. It matches the stabilizing bar on the back. All right, now for the moment in question, what does it look like? Now the highly carved ones, the ones that are like really high relief, well carved ones, are actually more valuable. And hold on, we got to get in better lighting. Hold on 1 second. All right. And that's even worse. Let's go outside and look at this. Before we run outside, I found another part of my kitchen that didn't have the sun, because I have skylights, and it messes everything up. If you look at this, this is really carved, really, really, really with high relief. Look at the size of her cheeks. And yeah, this is actually, look at the relief on this. This is really well done. This is not your average bear. if you know what I mean. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a moment. Yeah, you see how highly relieved? Highly relieved. It sounds like a constipation medicine. It's high relief, so it like juts out. That's what I'm trying to show you. The nose, that's another way to tell the age. If it had a straight nose that was long and the bridge like met up to the forehead, that's showing you early. The 1920s and on had little upturned pug noses. So this is actually telling me that this is older than I thought. Let's look at the construction going around it. It could possibly be gold or gold plated. A lot of these are 9K. Now I'm waiting for fluid to come. 9K fluid, testing fluid. It has not arrived. It was supposed to come like 2 days ago from Amazon and it hasn't. But this looks like some kind of rose gold. It could be plated or it could be 9K or 10K. So, all right, let's look at the other clues that we have. And this actually, look at this. It's like stuck to my hooker glove over here. Again, if you look at the side, it looks like a sea catch. And so this is actually an early rollover catch. Generally, yeah, you would see this on probably like circa 1900 and on. Generally, like around 1910, it really started to become more mainstream that they had these rollover catches or safety catches. But this looks like a very, very early version of it. Very interesting. Let's just put the pin back. And you see this lever back here? It rolls down over it and locks the pin in. So let's put the pin back. And I'm trying to do this with one hand and film with the other. And you guys are going to get impatient with me. Here we go. See how that goes in there? There we go. Now, generally, the earlier ones had the pin jutting past the brooch. And this actually is a little longer than normal. So I'm going to go with, this is probably circa 1900. I'm going to lock this in place by rolling over. You see that little tab? You just roll it over. Let's just get this pin back in the spot. Okay, and then I'm going to roll that piece over and be right back. So here's what it looks like when it's locked into place, as you can see. And again, this looks like an early 20th century catch, just probably at the turn of the century to 1910. So that's a good way to date this piece. Also, we see the striations in the back. We see these mountings in the corner holding the cameo in that look very old. And now we're going to do another test. We're going to try to figure out what kind of stone this is and who the heck this is. Oh, my lighter's in the way. My crack lighter. I'm only kidding. Well, this is Ghetto Antiques Roadshow. Yeah, so let's check it out. Who is this character? Can we figure it out? Now, generally, she has leaves in her hair. And yeah, so it could be what's known as, and I'm going to say it wrong. Hey, look, I'm from Brooklyn, Queens. You know what I mean? We say shit wrong. I'm going to say it's a Bacchante. Bacchus, don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, or Bacchus, Bacchus, was the god of wine and partying and being pretty much a dick and, you know, like a unmoral prick or douchebag. He was always drunk and high, basically, like today's people. And yeah, and he had bacchantes, which were like his little sluts. I'm sorry. All right, everyone's going to unsubscribe to me right now. His little like whores, or his like, you know, his little bacchante army of women that followed him around and pleasured him. So basically, yeah, he was the god of decadence, I guess you could say. But they say god of wine. And so this could be one of his muses, if you know what I mean. Muse. I'm here for your amusement. And let's go look at this outside really fast and see the sun shine through this. And I'm having a Parkinson's moment. My hands are shaking. It's from anxiety, not from a lack of alcohol or crack. So there are a lot of fakes out there, and made out of plastic and resin and glass and celluloid. But you could see the portrait through it when you hold it up to the light. I don't know if you can see that, but the sun is shining right in my eye right now. And I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm trying to show you. You can see, yeah, look at the intensity of that sun. I don't know. Could you see this? I'm trying. Oh, wow. The sun is hurting my eyes right now. But can you see the portrait coming through there? Yeah, this is a real one. It's actually made out of shell. Okay, so we were outside. Yeah, it's November. And look at this. I'm still growing flowers. Isn't that grand? Isn't that grand? I think, who used to hate that word? Did you ever read The Catcher in the Rye? The main character, Holden Caulfield, hated that when people called things grand. And so this is actually grand. And wow, look at this. Okay, So she's a bacchante, I guess. I don't know. You can comment and correct me if you want to. Is that corn in her hair? If it's corn or wheat, then she would be Ceres, Ceres. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But what's unique about this one is her cheeks. Generally, you don't find cheeks this pronounced, and her back. So you'll see a side profile, but she's actually facing from the back. You see, this is her shoulder area, the back of her shoulders, and her head is to the side, which is really, really, really quite cool. All right, and by the way, my flowers are in a swimming pool. This is the Ghetto Antiques Roadshow. And can you believe this? I grew flowers in a swimming pool. And so there you go. So let's just check out. I'm going to show you really fast the difference between this one and a 1920s one. And yes, there's a number of cameos that I have over here. And here's some more. By the way, there's my fish. He's saying hello. As you can tell, I have no more room for my antiques. And let me try to find a 1920s one to show you. And my fish says hello again. He thinks it's food time. All right, so here's a 1920s one. And if you hear my kids screaming in the background, actually they're adults. They're in their 20s, but they still screech and make noises like little kids. All right, so look at her nose. Her nose is pug, right? And I just noticed something. What do you notice that's different? Oh, God. All right, hold on. What's different about this one compared to this one? Did you notice yet? She's facing to the left. Now I know why there was a bid war. There was a bid war because she's facing to the left, and it's very rare to have them facing to the left. Now look at her nose and her profile, and look at the one that's down here. And you see how the corner of her nose is turned up? This is like a teens to 1920s one. So this is why I'm going to go with this one is actually antique. And, well, would be antique as well. But this is actually circa probably 1890s to 1900. And I'm no expert. If you know, write it in the comments below. Here's some of my other ones in my collection. And now I know why there was a bid war. And I got this for $49, which was really sweet. And I think this could be rose gold. I will do a test. I'll do an update. We'll find out if this is actually rose gold. That would be a lot of fun. And here's my little friend here saying hello to all you. He thinks it's food time. I'm sorry, I can't feed you a cameo, dude. Imagine that. Like, here, I'm going to feed you a cameo. Look at this. Wait, he's going to follow the cameo. Follow the cameo. Come on, boy. See, he's just trained. He's a trained fish. All right, guys, I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching, and so long.